Once again, good morning and welcome back to Data Structures Theory Sessions. Yesterday we have started our first unit, which is Introduction to Data Structures. And we have gone through a few basic points here. This is what the content that we have to go through within this unit. Data management concepts, then data types. Now these 2 points we have seen yesterday. And after that, we have started types of data structures where we looked at array and a very introductory part of linked list. So that's where the third point, we are discussing types of data structures. And after that, we'll categorize all those data structures in these 2 categories, linear and non-linear. Okay. And before we just complete this unit, we'll go through one more point, abstract data types, which is not the part of your syllabus, but we'll go through it as a bonus content. Yeah, so we have seen what is data management concepts. We have to collect the data first, then we need to organize that data, and then we should develop or maintain routines. Now, when we are going through these points, we should be following these 3 steps. We analyze the problem and determine what kind of data we are going to have, and then what kind of operations we are going to perform on that. And then we are going to think about what kind of structure we should follow so that we can perform these operations efficiently, right? Now, to have that, to make that happen, okay, just a minute. Everyone, please stop your video. We don't want to have anyone's video here. Yeah. So let's continue. So to perform or to implement those data structures, we need some data types, because data types are something with which we are going to declare few variables. And when we combine those variables in a proper structure, we define it as a data structure, right? So we need primitive data types first. And using primitive data types, we create few non-primitive data types. And then we structurize those non-primitive data types in a proper way to have some kind of behavior. That's what the data structure we create. So primitive and non-primitive data types, and then we started looking at data structures. The first one we looked at was array. Now in previous semester, you have already seen array. Array is nothing but collection of elements having same data type. It will have continuous memory allocation, and you can access those elements using index, which starts from 0 and goes all the way up to maximum size -1. So if you have 5 elements array, index will be from 0 to 4. There are a few limitations of array also. It is a fixed size. It has a continuous memory allocation. And if you go to add or remove operation on array, then there is an overhead of shifting elements to left or right side. Okay, so those are the limitations. Now to overcome those limitations, we have linked list, because in linked list we need not to shift those elements, we just need to maintain pointers. Even array requires continuous memory allocation, where linked list does not require continuous memory allocation. Node of a linked list can be anywhere within your memory. We will maintain pointers properly. So that's how we overcome those problems. Even linked list is not a fixed size, right? Till you have memory available, you can create node. And if you create a node, you can maintain a link. So there is no limitation on the size of your linked list. The only limitation is availability of memory. So all those limitations of array we can overcome using linked list. So what is linked list? It is again nothing but group of nodes. Now what node is? So in a simplest form, a node will have data part and a reference part. Data can contain your data, and a reference is actually going to remember the address of next node. So that's how you create a list. And you are going to link all those nodes. So it's a linked list. How it looks, we have seen yesterday, and this is how a singly linked list will look like. Oh, I'm saying singly linked list because we have a single pointer. Later on, we will see doubly linked list also, circular linked list also, and so on. Now, let us focus right now how linked list looks. So a linked list, to be specifically, let's say a singly linked list will have a node which contains data portion and a reference portion. Data, you can define whatever you want. Let's say you want to have character data, then your data can be of character data type, primitive data type. So when we define a node, yesterday we have seen, we are going to create a structure, right? Struct node, and inside that we are going to define data. So if I want to store integer data, I'll have int data. If I want to store a character there, then I'll have a character data. If I want to store name of a student, then I'll have character data array where I can store name of a student, and so on. So this data, when you are defining as a part of or as a member of your structure, it's up to you what kind of data you want to store there, right? And then the second portion of your node is going to be the pointer. In a singly linked list, it is going to point the next node, and it's the address, so we will have pointer variable here. So star next. Next is nothing but a variable name, identifier, user defined. I can have P, I can have N, I can have PTR, I can have next. So generally what we do at the time of declaration of a variable, we give it a proper name. So by looking at the name only, we can understand what is the use of that variable. So this is a next pointer, okay? And the data type, it is going to point to the next node. So its data type should be node. And node is not a primitive data type. It is a non-primitive data type that we have declared as a structure. So struct node pointer next. Now that's the second portion, and here we complete our structure. That's how we declare node. And then we can generate any number of instances or let's say variables, or we can allocate a memory for node. And then we maintain the pointers and data inside the node. So it points to the next node. So internally, now this is how it looks, but in terms of memory, look, when you create your first node and you allocate a memory, let us assume the memory address of node 1 is somewhere 2030. Then what you'll do is you are going to remember that first node address in head or start, whatever you call. So the value of head or start is going to be 2030. And that's the reason it is pointing to the first node. Now, when you allocate a memory for second node, and let us assume second node is somewhere at 5080 address, then actually we will remember this address in next pointer of first node. पहले नोड के नेक्स्ट पॉइंटर में हम सेकंड नोड का एड्रेस याद रखेंगे, which means your first node will have that address at this place. So वहां पे आपने एड्रेस स्टोर कर दिया, and that's the reason it is actually pointing to that memory location. So that's how entire linked list will be maintained. And as a developer, it is our responsibility to maintain all these addresses. जब भी आप मेमोरी अलोकेट करते हो आपको एड्रेस मिलता है, तो वो एड्रेस आप कहाँ पे स्टोर करोगे ये आपका डिसीजन होगा, because you are going to develop this data structure. Similarly, अगर थर्ड नोड let's say 2090 एड्रेस पे allocate हुआ है, then that address is going to be stored in second node next pointer. So it is pointing to that memory location. And if third node is the last node, then the next pointer of last node will contain null value, which defines this is the end of the linked list. Right? D1, D2, D3 is just a data. You can have integer data, character data, whatever you want. And that this is how we will maintain or we will create linked list. Okay. So now what are the advantage and disadvantage of a linked list? So it provides quick insert and delete operations, because we need not to shift any elements or any nodes here. Now let me quickly give you the example of that thing. If I have head pointing to first node, and then I have a series of nodes here, okay? Let's say 1, 3, 5 is my data. And for example, let's say we want to insert 4 after 3. I want to insert a new node which will have data 4, and I want to insert it after 3 or before 5. So what we need to do is we will allocate a new memory for newly created node. So runtime, we are going to allocate a memory for new node. Then we will store data inside that. Data is 4, so we know that we store data inside that new node. And then what we need to do is we want to insert this node after 3, so we are simply going to update this pointer. Okay? What we will do is we will store the address of 4 in the next pointer of 3, and we will store the address of 5 in the next pointer of new node. We simply update these values and we are done. Existing node जहां पे है वहीं पे रहने दो. Whatever the address was, मान लो कि first node का address था 1000, second node का address था 2000, फिर last node का address था 3000. Let it be. नया node जो आपने declare किया उसका address है 5000. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are simply going to update these pointers here. So node is going to be there wherever it is. We are not shifting that node anywhere. We will simply update the pointers, right? Rahul is asking, after updating, does the address get stored in heap or stack? Well, it is being stored in the node. Forget about heap and stack right now. both these are data structures itself. Stack भी एक data structure है, heap भी एक data structure है. Now we will see what is stack in this semester itself. Heap is not a part of your syllabus right now, but you will see heap later. And when heap and stack are being used, you will have multiple examples in this semester or next semester when you learn operating system subject. Okay, so look how operating system is going to manage this thing. You will learn in the next semester OS subject. Right now as a developer we are developing this thing, so we have our own memory, क्योंकि हमने इस नोड की मेमोरी अलोकेट की, तो हम उस मेमोरी में स्टोर करेंगे. नाउ योर क्वेश्चन कैन बी लाइक व्हेन वी अलोकेट अ मेमोरी, तो वो मेमोरी कहाँ जाएगा, हीप में या स्टैक में? ओके, सो योर क्वेश्चन कैन बी लाइक दैट कि व्हेन वी अलोकेट अ मेमोरी, where it is going to be allocated, and that's going to be inside heap. And that's the duty of operating system to allocate you. हीप में से वो मेमोरी निकाल के आपको देना ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम का काम है, राइट? सो दैट यू विल लर्न इन ओएस सब्जेक्ट, हाउ ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम इज गोइंग टू मैनेज योर रैम when multiple softwares are running, multiple softwares are acquiring that memory. So how OS will maintain that thing. Okay, fine. So yeah, coming back to this one, this is how we insert a new node. No shifting required. Now what if we want to delete anything? So for that, let's have another example. I have a head pointing to the first node, and then I have a series of nodes here. Right? 1, 3, and 5. Now let's say we want to delete node which is having value 3. So we want to delete this thing. Now if we want to delete this thing, then we just need to maintain this pointer. You update that pointer, and then you delete your node 3. Now when you delete, which means you are going to make that memory free. नोड के लिए जो मेमोरी आपने अलोकेट की थी, उस मेमोरी को आप फ्री कर दोगे. दैट्स द डिलीशन पार्ट. बट बिफोर वी डिलीट इट, वी आर गोइंग टू अपडेट द पॉइंटर्स, क्योंकि 5 का एड्रेस आपको कहां से मिलेगा? 3 के पास से, करेक्ट? सो बिफोर वी डिलीट 3, वी आर गोइंग टू टेक दैट एड्रेस. 3 के पास जो एड्रेस है 5 का, वो लेके 1 को दे दो, एंड देन आप 3 को फ्री कर दो. ओके, सो यू हैव टू थिंक अबाउट दोज स्टेप्स when you are going to perform these operations. You have to think about those steps one by one, and then you perform, right? So here also no shifting required, and that's why we can say insertion and deletion operation is quick in linked list. But even linked list has a minor drawback. It requires more memory to maintain address of a new next node. हर एक नोड के पास नेक्स्ट नोड का एड्रेस रहना चाहिए. तो आप डेटा के साथ साथ एड्रेस भी याद रखते हो, तो एड्रेस याद रखने के लिए you require more memory, and that's one drawback of a linked list. Okay, yes? You can store null. You can store null in the pointer. If you want to keep it empty, then just to be at a safer side, we can store null value inside a pointer. And if you are not making your node free, then you have to remember that one node I already have with me. So to remember that thing, you should have address of that node somewhere. Okay, if you are not going to remember the address of that node, then that node is lost. It is not free, so no one can use it. We do not have any idea where that node is, so even we are not using it, right? So we have to maintain the address of that node somewhere, and you can initialize that node to null value. Null value as a data, null value as a pointer, and that will be with you. Whenever you want to use, you can. Yeah, fine. So this is how a linked list looks and linked list works. So in a second unit, linear data structure, we will implement these linked lists. Okay. So array and linked list, these two are actually going to be the collection of your data. And that collection is going to be the linear one, sequential one. Using array or using linked list, you can prepare or you can create other data structures. And those data structures are nothing but stack, queue, tree, graph. So now we will understand what is stack, queue, tree, and a graph one by one. So the next one that we want to discuss here is the stack. Now, stack can be represented like linear array, or even you can create stack using linked list. And that we will see in the next unit. But right now, let us understand stack using array. So stack is again nothing but a collection of your data. So you can have array or linked list to create your stack. But we call it a stack because it has a predefined behavior. Now, how that behavior we can achieve. So in a stack, we are going to have one top variable, which is always going to be associated with the topmost element. With the topmost element. So it is actually going to give you the topmost position. So if you say this is your stack, this is nothing but the array. And I have drawn that array vertically instead of horizontally. I simply draw it vertical. And that's the reason you can see the index values like this one. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the index values. I have an array, and inside that array, I have some data, D1, D2, D3. The topmost data is D3, that's why the top variable is pointing to topmost element, D3. So this is how stack look like, but what is the actual behavior? So the behavior of stack is last in, first out, LIFO structure. So whoever comes last will be the first one to leave the stack. And to understand this behavior, you can say you can always insert your data from top and you can delete your data from top only. So one end is open, other end is closed. Right? One end of your array is open, from where you can insert and delete. The other end of your stack is closed. You cannot perform any operation from that side. So if you have an empty stack, then your top will be pointing to nothing because we do not have any data inside. If your stack has few data, have some data inside, then your top is going to point the topmost element, And let's say if you have stored all the elements inside your stack, then your top variable will be pointing to the topmost, the last element inside your stack, and we can say that stack is full. You cannot store more values inside the stack. But when you try to understand this thing, look, empty stack will have top null, and full stack will have top equals to max, or max minus 1 if you are considering index, right? But when you are going through this behavior, whoever comes first will be the last to be removed from the stack, right? जो पहले आएगा वो सबसे लास्ट में बाहर निकलेगा, क्योंकि जो सबसे पहले आया D1 वो तो नीचे बैठ गया, उसके ऊपर D2 आ गया, उसके ऊपर D3 भी आ गया. जब आप रिमूव करना स्टार्ट करोगे तो ऊपर से पहले D3 निकलेगा, देन D2 निकलेगा, only after that D1 can be deleted. So understand this thing carefully. Stack is a last in first out structure. जो लास्ट में आया वो पहले निकलेगा, जो पहले आया वो लास्ट में. ओके, बीच में से नहीं. सो you can perform insert or delete operation only on the top, and the top, for that you have this top variable. So you can perform insert or delete operation only on the top in stack, right? So wherever top is pointing to, you can insert a new data or you can delete the existing data from that place. Now when we insert a new data, top update hoga. When we delete existing data, top update होगा. So top को हम update करेंगे. अगर हम insert करते हैं तो top increase होगा, अगर हम delete करते हैं तो top decrease होगा. As simple as that, right? So top is going to traverse in this direction. Right? So when you perform insert operation, you are going to make top plus plus. And when you perform delete operation, you are going to make it top minus minus. Increment operator, decrement operator. Because we always increase or decrease top by 1. So हम simply plus plus या तो फिर minus minus operation करेंगे with top. Okay, so this is how actually stack works, which means, let's say if you have a stack of number of elements and you want to insert some data, let's say we have a stack of number of elements, and initially if my stack is empty, then top is going to be null. But if I declare my top variable as integer, then I should have some number there. So instead of null, I'll say -1. Simple. Index can never be negative. तो top अगर -1 है, इसका मतलब मेरे पास अभी कुछ नहीं है. That's what we interpret with top being -1. So if top is -1, your stack is empty. And then let's say we want to insert a value 4. Now insert or delete, both these operations will be performed on top. तो फिर आप देखोगे कि top कहाँ पे है? Oh, top is -1. So to make it 0, first of all, I need to go for top plus plus. So what will happen? My top was -1, but now it will become 0. So now top is 0. top is pointing to 0th index, and at that place I can insert a new value. So whatever my stack is, and whatever the top index is, stack is my array, top is the top pointer, so this becomes stack of 0, and at that place we are going to store our value 4. So 4 will be stored inside your stack. Now whenever you want to insert something, you are going to perform these two steps, and here you will say you are going to store your value, whatever value is given. So that will be insert operation. Now we will see the same operation in detail in the second unit. We will write algorithm, we will write a program also. But these are the steps, or these are the operations you are going to perform when you go for insert. Then just reverse of this thing will be the delete operation. Your top is already pointing to the topmost element and you want to delete it. So you get that value and then you decrease your top. So for delete, what you will do is you have a stack and you have a top, which is the topmost value. You will get that value first and then you are going to decrease your top. And then you will return whatever value you have received from the stack. So this is going to be the delete operation. Okay, so that's how we will work. So look, end user is always going to see जो मैंने लास्ट में वैल्यू दी वही मुझे पहले मिली. Internally we are going to do it like this way. So when we write a code, we will write this thing, but end user is simply going to run your program, and end user को सिर्फ यही दिखेगा कि अच्छा मैंने लास्ट में 5 दिया था तो पहले 5 बाहर निकला, उससे पहले मैंने 4 दिया था तो next will be the value 4 to be deleted, and so on, right? So that's the stack. Now few examples of stack. Can anyone give me the example of stack? Anything that works like stack? Where do you see stack? I'm not saying that give me the proper example in terms of computer field. आपको जहां पे भी stack दिखता हो, जहां पे भी last in first out behavior दिखता हो, आप वो example दे सकते हैं. Yeah, Rishita is saying Viral is saying function. Function call requires a stack. I don't know whether you have gone for this discussion in computer programming subject. लेकिन जब आप फंक्शन को कॉल करते हो तो हर एक फंक्शन की PCB होती है, प्रोसेस कंट्रोल ब्लॉक, and that PCB is going to be pushed inside the stack. अब वो क्यों जरूरत पड़ती है? बिकॉज मान लो कि आपके पास मेन फंक्शन है, मेन से आपने लेट्स से रिजल्ट कॉल किया, रिजल्ट कैलकुलेट करने के लिए आपने और एक इंटरनली फंक्शन कॉल किया सम. So this is your function call trace. Now when you are done with sum, आप वापस कहां पे आओगे? रिजल्ट में. कैसे पता चलेगा मुझे रिजल्ट में जाना है या मेन में जाना है? How that thing is being maintained. When you complete sum, आपको वापस रिजल्ट में जाना है, आपको वापस रिजल्ट में जाना है या वापस मेन में जाना है, कैसे पता चलेगा? सो फॉर दैट पर्पस every function which has its own PCB, process control block, okay? Now when you call result, तो मेन की पीसीबी जो है वो एक स्टैक में चली जाएगी. एंड यू गो टू रिजल्ट. नाउ रिजल्ट से जब आप सम में गए तो उसी स्टैक में रिजल्ट की पीसीबी भी स्टोर हो जाएगी. ओके. एंड आप जंप करके सम में चले गए. नाउ व्हेन यू आर डन विथ सम तो आप यही स्टैक में से पीसीबी पॉप करोगे, मतलब डिलीट करोगे, तो आपको पता चलेगा कि ओके इट इज फॉर रिजल्ट. एंड दैट पीसीबी प्रोसेस कंट्रोल ब्लॉक हैज एवरीथिंग रिलेटेड टू रिजल्ट. रिजल्ट के लोकल वेरिएबल्स भी उसके पास है, रिजल्ट के लिए जो कांस्टेंट आपने डिफाइन किए थे वो भी पीसीबी के पास है, और रिजल्ट फंक्शन जब एग्जीक्यूट हो रहा था तो आप कौन सी लाइन एग्जीक्यूट कर चुके थे वो पॉइंटर, एग्जीक्यूशन पॉइंटर भी उस पीसीबी के पास है. सो फ्रॉम दैट पीसीबी आपको ये भी पता चलेगा कि रिजल्ट फंक्शन के अंदर 5 लाइन ऑलरेडी एग्जीक्यूट हो चुकी है, मुझे अब 6th लाइन पे जाना है. सो दैट्स व्हाट हैपन्स व्हेन दिस एवरीथिंग इज बीइंग एग्जीक्यूटेड. सो रिजल्ट पॉप कर लिया एंड वी गो टू रिजल्ट. नाउ व्हेन वी आर डन विथ रिजल्ट तो वापस कहां पे जाएंगे? वी विल पॉप और वी विल डिलीट वन एलिमेंट फ्रॉम दिस स्टैक, तो हमें मिलेगा main. So we'll go to main. Now when we are done with main, even execution program is going to blindly perform whatever you have written inside. So operating system भी वही करता है. Operating system is nothing but one software. So when you complete main, it is again going to pop one thing from this stack. But as this stack is empty, उसको पता चलेगा कि पूरा एग्जीक्यूशन जो था वो खत्म हो गया. You terminate the entire software or entire program. And that's how it comes back to the command prompt. So that is what happens when we call a function. So when we call a function, use of stack is there. Correct. Rishita is saying CD's stack. Now, what do you mean by CD's stack? CD, compact disk, CD's stack. Now, what do you mean by CD's stack? Rahul is saying when we do undo, redo in, any Word file, that's correct. Anywhere in the operating system, wherever you have undo and redo functionality, you have two different stacks. Because when we go for control Z, command Z, undo operation, वो कौन सा ऑपरेशन undo करेगा? जो आपने लास्ट में किया होगा. Whatever last has been performed, it is going to be revoked. Right? So that's correct. In that operation, we require stack. So even you take an example of Word file, or even you take an example of your browser, back and forth buttons in your browser, internet browser, जब आप back करते हो तो आप कौन से पेज पे जाओगे? The page that you have visited last. So back and forth operation जहां पे भी है, you will require stack. Any other examples you have in your mind? Yeah, Rahul is saying when we put a list of plates, not a list actually, but number of plates, आप कहीं पे भी फंक्शन में चले जाओ और जहाँ पे भी आपका लंच या डिनर काउंटर है, स्टार्टिंग में प्लेट्स पड़ी होंगी. वी कॉल इट अ स्टैक ऑफ प्लेट्स. जनरली जब कोई बात करेगा तो वो वही बोलेगा स्टैक ऑफ प्लेट, वो एक स्टैक है. Now it can be plate, it can be your books. आपके टेबल पे एक से ज्यादा बुक्स अगर है और आपने एक के ऊपर एक रखी है, then it is going to be called stack of books. Now why we call it a stack? Because आप प्लेट कहां से उठाते हो? ऊपर से. बीच में से अगर प्लेट निकालने जाओगे, then that stack will collapse. वो पूरा थप्पा जो है प्लेट का वो गिर जाएगा. टेबल पे आपने बुक्स रखी है, बीच में से अगर आप बुक निकालोगे तो वो गिर जाएगा. Right? So that's correct. That's one more example of stack. Now these examples are not related to computer, which means you are going to see these kind of structures everywhere within your real life. Okay? Let me give you one more example. The toy of a child, colorful rings. Child need to put in a single ball, और वो रिंग्स जो है उसकी साइज अलग अलग है. किसी को याद है ये टॉय? जो छोटे बच्चों को हम सिखाते हैं, कुछ सिखाने के लिए एक टॉय बना है. एक बॉल है, एक खंबा जैसे कुछ, और अलग अलग साइज की रिंग है, अलग अलग कलर से. बड़ी रिंग को पहले डालोगे तभी वो बॉटम मोस्ट प्लेस पे जा सकती है. छोटी रिंग को अगर आप पहले डालोगे तो वो ऊपर ही अटक जाएगी, एंड ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट यू कैन नॉट प्लेस अ बिगर रिंग. that is also an example of stack. And there is one puzzle also, Tower of Hanoi, if you have heard of TOH, Tower of Hanoi. That's one more application of stack. Now we will see that puzzle in detail in the second unit. It's a part of your syllabus, so we will have a look at that one later. Yeah, Rushi is saying pack of cards. Look, pack of card. If you are simply going to maintain that cards in a single deck, so we said deck of cards can be called a stack. So every players are going to pick one card from the top. In that perspective, we can say it is a stack. बाकी अगर आपने कार्ड्स हाथ में पकड़े हैं, then it is not a stack. You can pick any card from your hand, right? So it's not a stack. Yeah, but now you have some idea what is stack and how it works, correct? So elements of stack are removed in the reverse order than whatever the order we have inserted. Okay, so a very simple deletion operation will be just exactly the reverse operation than the insert one. Lower element will be the last one. It will take a longest time to be deleted. Advantage, last in first out behavior. Wherever you want it, you can have it. Disadvantage, slow access to other elements, because until and unless you remove all the topmost elements, you cannot have access to the bottommost element. Right? सबसे पहला नंबर जो आपने डाला वो आपको चाहिए, तो उसके ऊपर जितने भी नंबर्स हैं सब नंबर आपको निकालने पड़ेंगे, तभी पहला नंबर आपको मिलेगा. So slow access for other elements. So that's stack. Next is queue. Now, queue is very much simple because we always use queue in one way or the other in multiple places. आप टिकट विंडो पे जाते हो, then there is a queue, right? कोई भी टिकट विंडो ले लो, बस का हो, मूवी के लिए हो, या anywhere you go. In current situation, this pandemic situation, even all shops do maintain a queue for customers. So what is the behavior of queue? जो पहले आएगा उसको पहले चांस मिलेगा. First come, first serve. So first out, FIFO structure. So queue is a first in first out, first come first serve structure. Again, you can implement queue using array or linked list. So अगर array से आप implement करते हो, then in terms of queue your both ends are open. स्टेक में एक बंद कर दिया था, लेकिन क्यू में दोनों एंड खुले रहेंगे. From one end you will insert a value, and from the other end you are going to delete the value. So in this case we need to maintain 2 pointers. स्टैक के अंदर सिर्फ टॉप मोस्ट एलिमेंट याद रखना था आपको, लेकिन क्यू में आपको दो पोजीशन याद रखनी होंगी. व्हाट इज द फ्रंट एंड व्हाट इज द रियर. अगर नया पर्सन आता है तो आप बोलते हो लास्ट में जाओ, राइट. टिकट विंडो पे अगर क्यू है और कोई नया पर्सन आएगा टिकट लेने, तो आप ये बोलोगे कि गो टू द लास्ट प्लेस, गो टू द रियर प्लेस. लेकिन जब टिकट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना चालू करोगे तो आप कहाँ से स्टार्ट करोगे? फ्रॉम द फ्रंट, फर्स्ट वन. सो आपको फ्रंट भी चाहिए. सो इफ न्यू पर्सन इज कमिंग, इन विल हैपन ऑन रियर. बट जब आपने टिकट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दी तो वो पर्सन लाइन में से निकल जाएगा. डिलीट, आउट ऑपरेशन, वो कहाँ पे होगा? फ्रंट पे. So we need to maintain front and rear, two positions, when we are going to implement queue, right? So a grocery store line, few examples we have discussed, ticket window or anywhere, you will see multiple examples of queue. Now in terms of computer, your processor has a queue. Because we have a single processor, it can perform a single process at a time. आपको ये नहीं पता है, आप तो 5 सॉफ्टवेयर एक साथ रन करते हो. That doesn't mean कि वो 5 सॉफ्टवेयर simultaneously रन होते हैं. Now, regardless of number of core inside your processor, let us not take that in account right now. अभी के लिए ये समझते हैं कि सिंगल कोर प्रोसेसर है हमारे पास, तो वो एक टास्क एट अ टाइम परफॉर्म कर पाएगा. लेकिन आपको ये पता नहीं है, क्योंकि आपके सॉन्ग भी चल रहे हैं साथ में, आप एक सी का प्रोग्राम भी बना रहे हो, और बीच में आपका फ्रेंड आया, भाई नई मूवी आई है कॉपी कर ले, तो कॉपी पेस्ट भी चल रहा है, राइट. सो यू आर परफॉर्मिंग 3 टास्क्स एट द सेम टाइम. आपको ये लगता है कि तीनों टास्क एक साथ चल रहे हैं, लेकिन आपके पास सिंगल कोर प्रोसेसर है, तो वो प्रोसेसर 1 बाय 1 टास्क करेगा. तो वो प्रोसेसर जो है वो एक क्यू मेंटेन करता है, जो पहले आया उसको पहले सर्व करो. बट व्हाट इट विल डू, वो पूरी प्रोसेस कंप्लीट करने के बाद सेकंड प्रोसेस पे नहीं जाएगा. अदरवाइज अदर प्रोसेसेस विल बी इन अ वेटिंग क्यू और इन अ वेटिंग स्टेट. तो जब तक आप प्रोग्राम खत्म नहीं करोगे, सॉन्ग्स नहीं बजेंगे. जब तक सॉन्ग खत्म नहीं होगा, आपके फ्रेंड के पास से मूवी कॉपी पेस्ट नहीं होगा. सो इट इज नॉट डूइंग लाइक दैट. प्रोसेसर क्या करता है? इट गिव्स अ फ्रैक्शन ऑफ टाइम टू ईच प्रोसेस. फ्रैक्शन ऑफ टाइम जो है वो आपका सी प्रोग्राम रन करेगा, फिर उसको साइड में रख के आपका सॉन्ग चलाएगा, उसको साइड में रख के कॉपी पेस्ट करेगा. देन इट विल कम बैक टू योर सी प्रोग्राम. अगेन सी प्रोग्राम थोड़ी देर के लिए रन कर लेगा, सॉन्ग चला देगा और कॉपी पेस्ट भी कर लेगा. नाउ दैट फ्रैक्शन ऑफ टाइम इज सच अ स्मॉलर पॉइंट that we do not realize this swap operation is being done inside the processor. ये जो स्वैपिंग हो रहा है एक प्रोसेस से दूसरी प्रोसेस का, वो हमें रियलाइज नहीं होगा. इट इज दैट मच फास्टर. ओके, सो हमें तो यही लगता है कि तीनों प्रोग्राम एक साथ चल रहे हैं, बट प्रोसेसर इज डूइंग दैट थिंग. तो प्रोसेसर जो है वो क्यू मेंटेन करेगा. नाउ इट विल हैव अ प्रायोरिटी क्यू ऑल्सो, बिकॉज अगर बीच में आपने कंट्रोल अल्टर डिलीट प्रेस किया तो क्या होगा, सारी प्रोसेस ब्लॉक और आपको टास्क मैनेजर दिख जाएगा इन विंडोज, राइट. सो इट हैज अ हायर प्रायोरिटी. अगर आपका ऑटो रन आपने एनेबल रखा है, आप सीडी डालते हो या पेन ड्राइव कनेक्ट करते हो, तो बाकी सब साइड में सबसे पहले वो सीडी रन होगी या तो फिर आपका माई कंप्यूटर खुल के सामने आ जाएगा, बिकॉज दैट टास्क हैज अ हायर प्रायोरिटी. तो प्रोसेसर जो है वो प्रायोरिटी क्यू मेंटेन करेगा. जिसकी प्रायोरिटी ज़्यादा है उसको पहले परफॉर्म करो. So we will discuss these things in detail in the second unit, but this is how queue works. Okay. So the advantage is first in first out. जो पहले आया उसी को पहले परफॉर्म करना है, then go for queue. And another one, slow access to other items. जो लास्ट में आया उसको लास्ट में टर्न मिलेगा. So we don't have any option. आपको queue में खड़ा रहना पड़ेगा. So that's another data structure. So what we have learned today is we have seen array, linked list, stack, queue. 4 data structure का basic introduction हमने देखा. We'll stop here. We do have few more data structures and we are going to see that in the next lecture now. So we'll understand what is tree, what is graph and all. So whatever data structures we are discussing right now are actually the data structures we have to cover in depth in unit number 2 and unit number 3. Second unit is linear data structures. Third unit is non-linear data structures. So at the end of this unit, we will categorize all these data structures as linear and non-linear. Fine. So let's stop here. If you have any query, you may ask. Otherwise, we are done and see you in the next lecture. If you have any query, you may ask, or else you may leave and join the next lecture then. Thank you.